How are you?
Doing all right. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. So Lindsay Leach, our the Ward 7 City Councilor, is here. I believe that I can't believe I only have half of mine. So I'm sorry, I wrote out a whole little thing and made copies, and I only brought one page. So we're just going to have to wing part of it. Do you have the turned on? Not this one. Oh, you have this one. Okay. Well, just so everyone knows, this meeting is recorded. All right. Those of you online, we're recorded. What we are going to do is we're going to hear from some folks. They're going to talk a little bit, myself included. And then we're going to go to where you can make a statement if you would like to, or you can ask some questions. One thing I will tell you, and contrary to what you might have heard or what you might have recently read, is that the Whitaker Community Council is 100% a solution-oriented organization. We invite people to come to the table, to talk about us, to meet in the middle, to make it so that it's okay for everyone involved. But we have many unhoused and housed neighbors alike. And, you know, I know that most of us are here tonight to talk about what's happening in the parks with the health and safety of some people that live here and in homes and some people that don't. So please keep yourself muted until we get to the questions. What we're going to do is we're going to take a statement from myself. We have Jennifer from Breakfast Brigade is here. She's going to give a statement. Kelly from the city is here. She's going to give a statement. Lindsay, would you like some time to say anything, or are you just here to observe?
I'm here to listen, but if people have specific questions for me, happy to answer where I can.
Okay, fantastic. So we're just going to talk for a few minutes, and then what we will do is just put it out to you guys. If you want to ask someone specifically a question, what will happen is that Elliot here there's a chat that's over here. When you're online, if you look online, you can see down below, there's a little deal to raise your hand. Where is it located, Elliot?
Yeah, it's in the bottom center of your screen. So basically, next to mute your video, there's a little hand icon, and that's to raise your hand, and everybody in the chat will see your hand is raised.
Correct. And so what Elliot will do is there's a chat on the side. As people have questions, he's going to put your name in the chat. We ask that you keep your questions or statements down to about 2 minutes. So because we want to get everyone an opportunity to be able to respond, to ask a question if they would like. Once everybody has had an opportunity to do that, if there's still time left, then we will work our way back around if someone who has already asked a question has another. Okay, so just to start off, like I said, we'll give the speakers about 10 minutes or less to make a statement. Well, somebody already has something to say. So my name is Margaret Steinbrunn. I'm the chair of the Whitaker Community Council. The Whitaker Community Council is a very solution-focused organization. As a neighborhood association, it is our responsibility to remain active with all of our neighbors' health and safety issues. That's the housed and unhoused alike. Recently, we have received several emails and issues from neighbors concerning what's happening in not only Washington Jefferson Park, but other parks that are surrounding us. We were asked to take a stand on some valid concerns that people have. So I typed this whole thing out, like I said, and I don't know where it is, but we'll just try to put it in a nutshell. Some of it had to do with what was happening with Breakfast Brigade, the amount of garbage that was being left behind, some of the activity that's happening in the park, the fact that you can't walk down the sidewalk across the street from Washington Jefferson Park during the week If you're in a wheelchair, you're in trouble. So originally we reached out, we thought it was Burrito Brigade. We assumed that that's who it was, that was in the park. So we reached out to Burrito Brigade, the Whitaker Community Council did, and we said, hey, can we sit down and talk about what's happening in Washington Jefferson Park and come up with a solution? And we were informed at that time that it was not Burrito Brigade that was in the park, that it was an organization that was basically renting their kitchen and their space, and that was under their nonprofit umbrella. So we said, great, let's all sit down and have a conversation. So we met on August 14th and in the middle of the afternoon, and we met with a member of the Breakfast Brigade, which I actually do not see her here today. But we sat down and we talked about what was happening in the park and concerns that people that live there have that are valid concerns. And understand we have concerns from not only people that are housed, but there's unhoused neighbors that have lived in this community for 15, 20 years that won't go in the park. So it's a variety of people that have expressed this. So we sat down, we talked about it. We were told some alarming things by someone who works for Breakfast Brigade. I mean, you'll find I just put it out there. We were told, and we have emails from them stating that they were asking women and children to leave the park because they were afraid of their safety due to some of the people that were in line. We said, you know, what about a church? What can we do? Can we help you find somewhere that's more appropriate, that's not in the middle of a residential neighborhood? And we were told, absolutely not. We're not willing to move from Washington Jefferson Park, and we're not willing to spread the days out and feed at more than one place. We're coming here, and that's just how it is. So, like I said, if we could please hold, if I'm going to tell you guys right now, if we have too much disruption, if the meeting goes off the rails, we're done. We're going to shut everything down and we're going to go home. We're here to find solutions and to talk at the table. We really are. We want to meet in the middle and we want to make solutions for everyone. All right. If you would come to more of our meetings, you will find that that's really what we do. We want to hear all sides. And I'm very happy to see that everybody that is here is here. So after we had that meeting and we found out what was happening in the park, we talked to Burrito Brigade and they said, you know what, let us have a meeting and we're going to talk with them and we're going to see what kind of solutions that we can come up with. So I have a letter here that was sent to me, and there's more than one, but my email is full. All right. Well, it is from somebody who lives outside of Washington Jefferson Park, and they've been there for 20 years. And they said they want to feed people. They want to help people. But why is there so many problems? And why is Breakfast Brigade not willing to compromise? They said that, you know, they can't do it anymore. And I know that they're not the only one because there's several people that have told us the same thing. And please understand that we asked them to come and talk with us. We invited Lisa Levinson to this meeting tonight. Is she here? That says a lot right there. We invited her to please come to the table and talk with us. Let's find a way. So yes, did we write a letter to the city council? We did. I have seen some things that are online that are just little pieces. If anyone would like an actual copy of what we wrote, I made some. we're happy to give you a copy so you can read for yourself. But we said that we care about everyone in our neighborhood, housed and unhoused alike. But if someone isn't going to come to the table and talk with us to try to compromise, then what other choice do we have when someone that works there, that has been there since the beginning, tells us that they're feeding pedophiles and asking them, women and children, to leave the park? Exactly. And we asked them to come to the table. We invited Burrito Breakfast Brigade to come and talk to us, and they declined. So, you know, we live in a very small community. What would you do if you had a kid and it was in your front yard? We were not left with a whole lot of choices. So I'm going to invite Jennifer to come up here, because Jennifer is the executive director of Burrito Brigade. And we have worked with Burrito Brigade since I've been involved with the board 7 years or something. And we've been partnered with them the entire time. So we want to feed people, and we care about that. And we also care about our neighborhood. You could, you know, say no all you want, but we only know what we know. Please.
All right. I'm okay. So I wrote things down so I wouldn't forget things. This has been the most uncomfortable week I've had in a while, because people are not listening and they're making judgments on having 2 pieces of a puzzle of a 100-piece puzzle. So good evening. My name is Jennifer Denson. Pronouns are she and her. I am the executive director of Burrito Brigade. Some of you know me. I've been involved with the organization since the beginning and for 10 years. I met with some of the members of the Whitaker Community Council, obviously, a few weeks ago to discuss concerns they had and to look into solutions to the concerns that the neighbors had over Washington Jefferson Park. I obviously am a solution-oriented person. Obviously, I've been doing this a while, and I wanted things to be better. Neighbors expressed the concerns to the Whitaker Community Council for about the amounts of crime and sex trafficking that had increased in the park and the increase of garbage in the park and the surrounding areas. We are aware that there was a marked increase because of the amount of people in the park since the recent sweeps on the railroad. Completely aware. In collaboration with the Whitaker Community Council, we tried to find a solution multiple times to help either move food around to more hungry people, or to release some pressure from the Whitaker, such as going mobile. We had offered multiple ideas, choosing different locations on different days, also keeping a day in Washington Jefferson always. And we still do burritos on the weekends. So just to clarify with people that think that the Whitaker Community Council is against food in the park. In collaboration with the Whitaker Community Council, we approached with the compromises and solutions. The breakfast crew was not willing to adjust their service schedule or any adaptations. The permit to feed at Washington Jefferson Park was lost due to non-compliance with the city, which was in motion already the day before this letter from Margaret went out. This happened with my knowledge after I was informed. Due to the other concerns, along with the permit revocation, the Burrito Brigade Board voted on Sunday for our contract to end with Breakfast Brigade because of the liability issues. The decision to pull our support for the breakfast crew goes everything against Burrito Brigade and myself personally stand for. This has been a very hard week. We were hopeful that a solution could be reached, and we will continue our efforts to feed people and remove barriers to access, but we can't do it when everything is made more difficult.
Thank you very much. All right, so next we will ask Kelly Shadwick. Are you with us?
I'm here. I don't know. Oh, can you see me? Okay. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
I think you're muted.
Oh,
Oh, sorry, Kelly, you're not, but we're having difficulty hearing you.
let's see. Let me see if the microphone. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Kind of?
Oh, great.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, you can hear me. The people in the room as well, or just people that are online?
We online can hear you perfectly.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry for shouting. I just am not sure if the people in the room can hear me. Margaret?
Kelly, their screen went back to Elliot's face page, so I don't know what's going on with them in the room.
Okay. I'll just wait a minute, I think.
This is Claire. I'm on the board. I'm gonna give Margaret a call and just let her know. Okay, sorry for this.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It happens.
Elliot is moving from the neighborhood at the end of the month, so.
No, I got it. Keep the
Thank
voice
you.
on high street.
2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Are we back, Margaret? Can you hear me?
We're running now.
All right, so Kelly,
Can you hear me? Hello? Can the people online hear me?
yeah,
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, the room just can't hear us, it seems like.
Can somebody?
I'm very sorry for the technical difficulties.
If online can now hear us and we can't hear her, maybe let's speak what we've got to work this out.
Can you grab that?
Yes, grab what exactly, the whole thing.
That's all right.
Hello?
Ah,
Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah.
Margaret?
Nope,
Okay.
Kelly.
Okay. Sorry. My name is Kelly Shadwick. I work for the Parks and Open Space Division, and thank you so much for having me here. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person, but I'm glad I can make it online. And I'm the Community Engagement Manager for Parks and Open Space, and on my team sits the Park Rental Program, which I'm sure many of you have touched at some point. We help community members, local nonprofits, businesses, etc., hold events in our parks. And we actually do over 700 events a year, which is a lot. And Breakfast Brigade has been serving breakfast Wednesday through Saturday in Washington, Jefferson Park through our park rental program under what's considered a special use permit. And just a little information about that, like all park reservations, the special use permits really do need to be applied for. It's really important that we get good information around what folks want to do, days, times, what kind of impacts it might have to the park itself, etc. And then it also really helps our staff know that someone's going to be there. We have to make sure the garbage is empty. We need to make sure the sprinklers are off, that we don't schedule mowing for that particular time, etc. All things that we've worked hard to do for Breakfast Brigade. So, the other piece of this is that the special use permit can also have a vehicle access permit. So it allows a vehicle to be in the car and do so safely. And these permits also have a lot of other information that the permit holder needs to agree to, such as like number of vehicles that can be in the car, where they have to park, what happens with the garbage that may impact the park as a result of their efforts, what days of service they're agreeing to, times they're agreeing to, days of operation, etc. And so there's a number of things in our special use permits that we're doing for you, and then you're also agreeing to with us. And we really have worked for months with Breakfast Brigade to try to get them into compliance around a number of issues, and ultimately have denied their permit effective in September for being in the park. And it was really around driving multiple vehicles in the park and parking them, which was not part of their permit. They had a permit to bring one vehicle into the park, unload, and repark it. The other piece that is required of all special use permit holders and park rentals is a proof of liability insurance, and we provide a lot of information about how to get that. And they have not been able to provide us with proof of liability insurance. And so because they are in violation of their permit was denied. And we sent them a letter in early September. And I mean, I also know that they've been down there in days that they did not agree to with us. Their agreement was Wednesday through Saturday, and we know they've been down there on other days. And so that's maybe not stated in their denial letter, but I know that's also an issue for people. So that's.
No, wait, hold on, Lindsay. No, excuse me. If number one, if you want to be aggressive, you can leave right now.
2 minutes.
2 minutes for the questions.
It's been 2 minutes.
No, she's not asking a question. She's making a statement. She's a speaker to start.
An oppressive class.
Excuse me, please leave. Please leave.
Fuck you.
Please get out.
Fuck you guys.
Oh, fuck you. Please get out.
Fuck you.
Get out.
This is fucking bullshit. This is fucking bullshit.
I'm gonna call 911 right now.
Fuck all of y'all. What are you gonna fucking do? Fuck you, fucking the both of you. You need to fucking back the fuck up. Both of you.
Please,
fuck you! Fucking president! Fuck your bullshit! Fuck all this shit! You don't want to fucking kiss ass when Trump fucking says it's bullshit, but y'all are gonna fucking continue to accept the same.
I am located.
Fuck you!
375 West Third, and you can hear a gentleman is asking to leave the property several times. And he's threatening and telling everybody to fuck off the street at the end of the meeting.
Fuck you! They came out here, you're fucking assholes, you are fucking neighbor. Fucking you, fucking all of you.
Yes.
Fuck you.
Disruptor.
606.
Fuck you. Fuck all of y'all. This is fucking bullshit. Fucking keep on representing the fucking government. So you can fucking sell your houses and fucking screw all your fucking neighbors. You're bullshit. You don't give a fuck about your neighbors. You don't give a fuck about anything. I don't give a fuck. They're not trying to work shit out. You're not trying to see your fucking shit. All you want to fucking do is get rid of your fucking houseless neighbor because y'all don't give a fuck about anyone. Fucking liability insurance? Fuck you. That's fucking class warfare. Fuck you. I don't give a fuck.
Middle of the meeting, in the back room.
Fucking fucking pedophiles. You
No.
fucking hear your bullshit.
We are at
It's like a fucking nightmare.
You shut up there.
Fuck both of you. Fuck you. I'm out of here.
Yeah. I actually couldn't tell you. I don't know if it'll be back or not.
We definitely have somebody coming up.
Yeah, and please have somebody come. I know the Whitaker response, it takes you guys an hour to get here, but this will work. Thank you. All right, I'm sorry for the interruption. Oh, hold on. You know what? We really will have a time for you guys. Whoa! Hey!
This is a bitch.
We'll give you a minute to talk, I swear. That's what we're here for. However, we do have some speakers beforehand. We want to be able to ask questions and get real answers. So I'm going to guess that she's almost done. The 2 minutes is for the questions.
They've already called the cops,
No, they're not coming.
They're not, okay, cool.
No, they're not coming. Are you kidding? They don't have time for our neighborhood. You know that. I know that. I'm really here to find a solution. If you want to go, that's your choice.
They don't want to find a solution.
If you want to go, that's your choice. But I really, I want us all to meet at the table and talk about the problem. I really do. So if we could let Glenn Chadwick finish, and then we will each be able to ask a question or make a statement that we came here to do. Yes, we're going to go in order. All right. We still have an hour and a half left. There will be time for everybody to say something, but this does not help anyone. It really doesn't. None of us. It's not going to happen. All right. Kelly, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead. Please finish your statement.
I really was done essentially. So, we've tried with Breakfast Brigade to get them to come into compliance and have had many conversations and sent emails, but we haven't been able to get them to come into compliance with their parks permit. And this is the standard that we hold everyone to, and it's across the board equitably. And so, yeah, that's all I have to say. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer.
All right. So, do we have any questions for Kelly?
I've got questions. I had a question. I had a comment.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Do we have anyone in the queue?
I do have one thing to add. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to interrupt the person that was just, I think Travis, that was just getting ready to talk. But we have reached out to Breakfast Brigade in the past, like Burrito Brigade has as well, trying to find alternate locations that might work a little bit better for their service. And I know I have reminded them again that Reagan Watches in the City might have some ideas for how we can kind of target their desire to help people have a meal with places where people are, such as already established rest stops where people would maybe like to get a meal. So I just want to make sure that I mention that we too have looked at alternate locations with them and weren't able to find one that they liked, and we are still open to having those conversations with them about alternate locations.
Okay, so Travis, you're in the queue. You have 2 minutes.
Okay, hi. Well, I just want to touch on a little bit what Jennifer Denson had spoken about. I'm glad that she has recognized that there's a serious issue with certain aspects of the feeding. What I'm not hearing is the far-reaching additional consequences that the feeding has caused to our neighborhood, which is livability throughout our neighborhood. It's not just a block over or 2 blocks over or 3 blocks up or 3 blocks down. It's across the Whitaker. Folks are coming into our community because there's a feed there. There was a guy at the city council meeting just on Monday that just let the council know. He came from Florence. The EPD or the Florence police sent him to Eugene to be fed. And that's why folks are showing up is they're creating they're further perpetuating an issue that we need to solve, not exacerbate. And what we're exacerbating is a livability issue in our neighborhood. Beyond that, I've never in 46 years of my life of the Whitaker heard anybody be against feeding somebody. The Whitaker is the most helpful neighborhood in the entire community with the houseless population. What we have is a attractive nuisance problem, Kelly Shadwick. We don't have an issue with cars in the park. We've got an issue with large clusters of hazardous waste materials that are gathered, and needles and feces. We've got an attractive nuisance problem. It is a liability. It's a liability to the city. Children see piles and they dig through piles. That's what happens. I was a child in the Whitaker. I used to dig through piles in the Whitaker, and so that is beyond a car in the park. It's a livability issue. It's ruining our park.
Okay.
On top of it, there was a $1.2 million restoration.
Please mute him. Thank you, Travis. We muted you because your 2 minutes are up. So I think that there's some folks that are in the room as well. So let's just start at the front. Do you guys have any questions, anything you want to say? Do you have anything you want to say? Yes.
Absolutely.
No, I meant the gentleman in front of you. Hold on, we're getting right there.
My name is Daniel Williams. I live in Irving City.
So Daniel, can you speak up because we can't hear you up here?
My name is Daniel Williams. I live in the neighborhood. The needles are out of control. They're out of control. I don't have any political point to make at all, except the needles. My little girl is 1 year old. She's learning how to walk. This is the kind of shoe that a 1 year old wears. The sole of this thing is as thin as crepe. She falls, she lands on her hand, she picks things up. You gotta get these needles under control. They're bonkers. It's bonkers. That's it. That's the only issue I have. It's not a political point. It's just bonkers. It's hazardous.
Thank you. I'm sorry, what is your name?
Pastor Rebecca Wetmore Cook.
Pastor Rebecca, will you please go ahead and do you want the mic or can you speak up so everybody can you guys hear online?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm here on behalf of Trinity Methodist Church, who has fed, clothed, and sheltered the houseless community of Eugene for decades now. I'd like to read you some passages. Matthew 25:35. For I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you invited me in. In Deuteronomy 15:11, we are commanded to be open-handed towards the poor and needy in our land. I'm not sure if this is a statement or a question, but on behalf of myself, the houseless community, my congregation, and my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, how dare you? What are you doing? Make a mistake, let's fix it. My church is willing to work with you to fix it. We will help pick up the needles. This is absurd and unchristian. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Stephen, you have anything you want to add? Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is John.
Hi, John.
On the western frontier on Almaden. I actually know the gentleman that spoke at City Council Monday night. That's not really an accurate rendition. The police didn't send him from Florence to Eugene because of the feeds. They sent them to Eugene for the same reason that all homeless folks get sent to either Eugene or Portland, because it's one of the two largest urban areas, and that's standard policy literally throughout the country. It's got nothing to do with any of the feeds. That's just the facts. And continuing to use social economic crisis that began, I mean, I graduated from college in 2008. I got the pleasure of being the first to graduate into the recession. That's why we're in this situation. When I first moved to Eugene the first time in 2010, there was a huge crisis of needles at that time, and there were very little feed programs operative. I've heard people come to the city council from this neighborhood and complain about the number of services in the Whitaker, which clearly means that they moved in here because those services have always been here. So why are we listening to folks that are moving into the neighborhood and then attacking other of our long existing folks? I moved to Eugene because of its reputation for being progressive, for respecting human rights, for all these things. Found out after I moved here that its track record is in diametric opposition to its self-understanding. And unfortunately, since moving back here after quite a few years of being gone, I've seen the WIT follow suit and get pulled. I got yelled at walking down an alleyway because someone thought I was homeless because I was in the alley.
I'm sorry to hear that.
The other day. I'm not sorry. I'm livid. I'm livid that everyone's let this happen. I'm livid that we're yelling about the homeless, but where are the solutions to the sweeps? What exactly has the Whitaker done to put pressure on the Eugene police to stop the sweeps? What have you done? What have you done? How many times have you put out statements to the real estate developers driving up rent?
Okay. So if I could just, I would like to respond to that just so that you all know. I myself have reached out to Food for Lane County. I've talked to them 5 times in the last 2 weeks because we are looking for a solution. We do not want people to go hungry. I myself left home when I was 14 years old and slept under bridges, slept on park benches, and I couldn't go home. So I understand what's happening, but we're not just talking about the unhoused. We're talking about everyone living cohesively and the ability to come and compromise just like what you're talking about. And that's what we're here to do. That's, nobody's making no judgments, nothing like that. We understand that people need to eat.
Not all the residents do.
So how about the folks behind you? Do you guys have any questions or statements that you want to make? We're working our way back. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead and stand up if you will.
Good evening. My name is Dan Ballin. I'm a member of the Eugene community experiencing homelessness and a candidate for Oregon's 4th federal congressional seat in the 2024 general election. This morning, while receiving breakfast from the Burrito Brigade before heading to downtown library to prepare for a debate and work on my resume, I was dismayed to learn that this council has denied them a permit to serve breakfast at the homeless farm. I'm deeply concerned by this in Eugene. Access to hot, nutritious meals is severely limited. The dining room provides a hot lunch only Monday through Thursday, whereas the Burrito Brigade offers essential meals from Wednesday through Saturday for those of us facing homelessness and poverty. Finding nutritious food is a daily struggle. Even those with food stamps find it challenging to afford nutritious options without proper storage and cooking facilities. And inflation has exacerbated this problem. Poor diet leads to serious health issues. I cannot comprehend why this council will consider hindering the Burrito Brigade's efforts. If this council does not support their work, are you prepared to take on the responsibility of providing consistent, nutritious meals through a government-operated soup kitchen? Major cities like New York, San Francisco, and Los Angeles address this issue with municipal soup kitchens. Eugene, with the highest per capita rate of homelessness in this country, 432 per 100,000 residents, a rate higher than New York and Los Angeles, faces an urgent need. Denying the Burrito Brigade's permit could only worsen an already critical issue. Across the nation, organizations providing food and shelter face legal challenges, yet the Department of Justice has supported them in such battles. I urge this council to support the Burrito Brigade with their vital work. This issue transcends charity. It is a significant matter of public health. The council states that the social justice is the core of their work, and the health of the homeless population is a significant social justice issue. Thank you for your time and consideration of this critical issue. I'm available to provide any further information or discuss this matter in more detail. I look forward to seeing how this council will address the needs of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, just to clarify a couple of things. It is not a Burrito Brigade. It's Breakfast Brigade. They're two different organizations. And it's not the WCC that revoked their permit. Their permit was already being revoked before we ever wrote a letter. It was already in the midst of happening. So that was not our decision. Did we write the letter? Yes. Like I said, I have a copy. But just so that we're clear, they were already in the midst of doing that before we ever wrote anything. So we're not really responsible for that. But I'm more than happy to take responsible for what we are. Sir, you have something to say. I think you're next. What if does one of you two guys want to say something? Okay, please. We're getting there.
No, let them speak.
Right. No, that's why I said this gentleman here in the purple shirt is waiting as well. And I just want to get to the back of the room. Lisa wants to talk, so.
My name is Jenny, she, they. I am a community member all over WP. I do homeless outreach, and I have hundreds of house friends. I just want to say, I think there are a lot of different levels of whatever the situation is, whether people are working together, right, or whatever. I think the thing is, we need to remember the people who are going to be affected by not being able to be fed in the park. And I think that it's vile that you guys are saying, oh, we don't want sex predators to eat the park. Like, those people have gone to jail most likely. If they're a registered sex offender, they've been honed for their sin. They repay their debt to society. And it's really not your place to judge those people. Keep your kid with you if you're in the park between those times. Most kids are at school at that time. They should not be fed because of something they've done in their life. That's disgusting, okay? As far as the needles go, you want to know if you're really helpful? Go to the Alliance and get some freaking containers and put them out and encourage people to use them.
Shelter care, it's right, the Alliance isn't shelter care right across the street. They
Right,
do
but
it
I'm
all the
saying,
time.
like, put them out, make them more accessible. You don't want them on the ground, you want them in a bucket, put some damn buckets up. We have the highest population per capita of homeless folks in the United States of America, and the people who should be getting all of the focus and all of it is the city, because they are allotted $19.6 million this year alone. And where the hell is the money going other than in the cops' pockets? This is a and then picking each other when really it should be the people who are in charge of all the funds, right? Like, do you think these people like living on the streets? Do you think they like that? No, it's hard. It's hard out there. I've lived out on the streets with them. It's hard. It has some compassion. Treat them like human beings. Be nice to them. Say hi. I get that they're a nuisance. I get that they have a lot of trash. Why is the city out putting out more dumpsters for them? You know, like, you should raise.
Just to respond to one in here, we are working on more trash cans. Right now, we're actually working on doing a cleanup. Anybody who will follow us on Facebook or go to our website, please watch for when we do a winter cleanup. We're working on getting garbage cans put around that neighborhood for that specific reason. And you're right. I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Do you have anything that you want to say?
That's a question.
Sure.
You're saying that you're working for solutions, and that's your key purpose here. But you also brought on the person who pulled the permit and seems to be passively defending them. I'm just curious, what are you actually trying to do to get people fed and not prevent them?
What am I personally trying to do? I've reached out to, like I said, I've reached out to Food for Lane County. I talked to Reagan, who is the, I don't know if any of you know her. Reagan is the homeless advocate that works for the city. She told me that she has reached out several times and has several locations that the breakfast brigade could go and continue their great work.
It's not in the
And-
park here.
Correct. So why does it,
This option.
but why does it have to, why, that's my question. Why does it have to be? Why does it have to be in the park 5 days a week?
Why can't it be in the park?
But why does it have to be?
Because it is now. It is now.
Right, no, I get that, but
How many days of the week do you eat?
well, there's more than one place. There's more than one, there's hungry people in more than one place in Eugene.
There for sure is.
There is.
Why are you?
So, you know, I'm not doing anything except for bringing everyone together.
All y'all that are against this shit.
No, I am here to bring everyone together and to talk about it. You got, you have, so the gal next to you, just hold on, go ahead.
The proxy, but yeah, like, the city of Eugene is putting Washington Jefferson Park on people's IDs as their address.
Really?
I mean, apparently so, but they expect to be able to have access to that park, and people have been being homeless in Washington Jefferson Park a lot longer than a lot of the real estate developments and things that have been here that have been attracting, sorry guys, but like yuppies from out of town.
No, I get that. I understand. So you're telling me when somebody goes to the DMV and they get an ID, they put Washington Jefferson Park on there? And that's city sanctioned? Is that correct, Kelly? Let's ask the city. They're here. Let's ask them if that's true. Lindsay, Kelly, is that correct?
What was the question? I didn't hear it very well.
The question is that apparently there are people that are going down to get an ID, a state ID, and they put their home address as Washington Jefferson Park.
Yeah, I couldn't speak to that or the legality of it or anything. I don't know.
Okay, so who do we talk to find out about that?
Why is this your bucket?
Well, I just would like to know. That's a very good question.
Because if that's somebody's address. that's-
Right, no, I agree. That's a very good question. Who would we ask that? Who would we ask about that?
You could ask OSP. OSP has put various sex offenders' address as WJ.
But not every homeless person is a sex offender, so that's, you know, we're not gonna go there. All right, I'm sorry. That's a good question, and I will pay attention to that and look into that and see what the heck. Because the right hand is not doing the same as the left, and thank you, that's what we're here to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a bigger point is too that these folks, people like to make it sound like people come from out of town, which sometimes they do. Sometimes they get forced out of more rural areas because they don't have any services and their policy is to send them into the bigger cities. We're not gonna let them starve here. But a lot of these people I talk to, they're from here. They are locals. Like they love their housing because things got too expensive. Someone got sick, they became disabled, whatever happened in their lives. Like you guys could all be homeless. Any one of you at any point.
I understand that. All right. Anyone, hold on a second, because Lisa is right there. Lisa, you,
My turn?
Please.
I have a response directly, I will speak later, but I have a response directly to Kelly Chadwick.
can you speak up a little bit so we can all
I
hear?
have a response directly towards Kelly Chadwick. Our certificate of insurance was supposed to be provided by our fiscal sponsor. We asked them multiple times to provide the certificate of insurance. They failed to do so. This is not a breakfast brigade problem. That was our fiscal sponsor, Greeter Brigade's responsibility to provide that information, and they failed to do so. Subsequently, we will be appealing the issue regarding the parking because the language in our vehicle access permit was excessively vague, and I have gone back through it with our legal counsel, and it does in one part of the permit indicate that there's a vehicle unloading and loading, and in the vehicle access permit, it indicates that multiple vehicles, plural, may load and unload. We do know that there are times when we have left a vehicle in the park, which is typically critical for being under volunteered and having too many people there, and that is our fault, and we apologize. There was also allegations that we were parked on the turf. I do not believe that that was us. I believe that that was Occupy Medical, who provides a free medical clinic on the 2nd and 4th Saturdays of the month to our most fragile citizens. And by the way, no, we do not bring women and children up to the line first to eat with us. We bring medically fragile people, people who need to get to an appointment, homeless people that are working, people who have to get to school, people who have to get to court. If you have any issue like that, you get fed at the end, ahead of the line. I have no idea if we have sexual predators in the park. There are sexual predators all over Eugene, but we do not prioritize that in any way. We prioritize those in need. I'm going to be appealing the revocation of our permit, and we will be seeking clarity about the parking rules and asking the city for photos of parking on the turf, which I believe was an accident by somebody driving an occupied medical vehicle into the park, and they were parked on like 1 foot of grass. None of our regular volunteers park on the turf. We park on the sidewalk. We apologize for the times we did not get our vehicles out of the park as soon as we unloaded, and we will make sure that that never happened again. I will respond about other issues later.
So,
I have a question.
I have a question, because, you know, and clearly, like I said, we don't issue permits, we don't revoke them, that's not our job. We don't have the ability to do that. If the city does not, and that's up to them, that's between you and them, if they decide not to issue you a new permit, but offer you a new location that you continue to do the great work that you're doing, are you going to continue to do that? Are you going to move and do that in an alternate location?
We have been looking for alternate locations for multiple years. When the city tried to arrest volunteers that are sitting in this room for feeding the homeless 2 years ago, we were looking for a location. We need cover. The reason that we
Okay, I understand that. That makes sense.
We need cover.
That makes
We
sense.
are currently looking for other locations that not only provide cover, but provide a bathroom, which is the reason why we have feces in the park, is because there's not enough bathrooms. And by the way, during the winter, they turn off the water in the park, so you can't even urinate. That's what the city does.
Okay.
And then they complain about that. So yes, we are actively looking for places within the community. We have funds to pay for them, and we're doing that. But we've just been kicked out of the park. Once again, with no notice. We literally did not know about your letter going to the community council. We did not receive accurate information about any of this, and I will talk about that later. But we are trying to work within the community. I mean, you may not know this. We bust out our trash every day. We give the homeless 200 trash bags, and we go to them and say, do not block sidewalks. Pick up all your trash. We ask them to leave them by the trash containers. We talk to the parks people who are picking them up, letting them know that this is there. We offer them trash pickers and training on how to remove needles. We have a huge part of this community that is trying to solve this problem, and we are trying in good faith to solve it with you.
Yeah, that's part of why we're here. We invited you to come and join us for that specific reason.
We were told previously we were not welcome here, and clearly that.
I emailed you specifically the agenda, an invitation. If it didn't come in your email, I mean, I can show you.
I got the most recent invitation.
Who told you that you were not welcome to come to the meeting?
Jennifer Denison told us you would not meet with us.
And it's not true.
That is true.
That is not true.
That is exactly true. After we had our board meeting and we said what we said, you responded.
No, that's not true. This is not fair. I don't feel like I'm being attacked. Can I allowed to respond?
Yeah, you can, but let's keep it, let's keep it short. Oh, no, let's not argue.
Let's take turns.
Yeah, let's not argue. Let's let Jennifer respond, and we're gonna move on. The gentleman in the purple shirt has been waiting. So Jennifer,
If I can speak.
keep it to a minute. Just,
Okay.
Can I finish my statement?
I know you've had your 2 minutes are.
All right, so my last comment is.
He's had 5 minutes.
We thought that you would not meet with us.
Well, no, we emailed you and said, please, let's do that.
Okay.
So Jennifer, what do you have to say?
Okay, for what I didn't put in my speech was that I was approached by Margaret. Margaret, Lisa and I met last summer trying to find solutions. Lisa was very defensive, so I made the judgment to invite a different breakfast brigade volunteer because I was worried of how it would come out. And that was my judgment. That was my bad judgment. I met with Margaret and another member of the Whitaker Park Liaison and a breakfast brigade. Then we had a meeting. Then I had offered another meeting, and then you had decided that you had already made a decision on your board member and said that there wasn't a reason to continue to talk because you wouldn't move location.
That is not what we said.
Okay, all right. So Jennifer, you good?
Yeah,
All right.
so-
Sir, thank you for your patience very much.
Thank you. What you are seeing here is the logical conclusion of Eugene's ridiculous and corrupt housing policies of incentivizing and giving away tens of millions of tax rates to outside developers and private equity investors. This is the logical conclusion of seeing people like Lindsay Leach giving away these tax breaks, our money for junk real estate that, by the way, was used, is sitting on top of single room occupancy housing that already existed in Eugene that could have very easily housed a lot of people because it was already cheap. I saw this in San Francisco because I lived in one. I saw it in LA, I saw it in Portland, I've seen it everywhere else. You've destroyed our absolutely invaluable low-income housing to accommodate this junk that is now going empty. And you know why you did it? Because the fact was that they thought, these developers and these private equity investors thought that Build Back Better, Build Back Better was going to give trillions of dollars away in housing and HUD funding for rent. It failed. So now you're seeing this scramble to get any kind of money to try and put housing. And what do we get on, what is it, on Willamette Street, 1019? They're building, this is supposed to be affordable housing, $1,000 for about a 350 to 400 square foot studio. The poorest people in Eugene or in Oregon happen to be single family, happen to be single moms with their children. You're going to stuff them in that? And what happens if you don't get the HUD funding? Right now, there's a major change that's taking place in Washington, D.C. to fund any of this. It's coming to an end. And so what do we have? We have nothing. The city of Eugene has been giving away those tax rates, and right now we're running a deficit of tens of millions of dollars. That's why you're not getting your meals picked up. That's not why you're getting your food. But you keep voting for these bastards because they fit. And you keep giving it away. So break the hell up. Why do people can't see?
All right. Thank you very much. All right. How about y'all and please, sir.
I would love, my name is Gabriel Scott. I volunteer Wednesday mornings with the Breakfast Brigade. I'm heartbroken to hear so much of this. It is new information. I heard Tuesday, a bunch of Wednesday mornings. I heard Tuesday about this personally. I want to say that everyone involved, from you, I can't remember your name, although I do have some issues, serious issues with your letter. Everyone cares. There's no one here who doesn't care. There's not, we're all guilty of callousness, but there's no one who, is an enemy, I guess. There's clearly been a breakdown of communication, is what is happening. I mean, it's just a breakdown of communication. But what I really need to say is that the effect of that is outsized and dire. And the anger that you're seeing and you're having trouble keeping control. Well, yeah, things are on the edge of control. People are at the edge of survival. You understand what that means?
I do.
That level of where I'm at. And just a kind face, a hot, nutritious, good meal, a community can be what gets you through to another day. And so whatever you're doing with the communication issues, don't take that away.
Thank you very much. Anyone as we? Yes, ma'am.
We also have some online.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've been in the queue for quite a while.
yeah, hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. Please.
Hi, my name is Willow. I don't really have much involvement with this, except that it's my dad, so I've obviously heard about this. And I just want to say, please, remember.
Okay. You're doing great. We want to hear what you have to say, please.
Remember that everyone is a person. Sorry. Everyone's a person, and just please treat everyone like they're friends.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. You have anything you want to say? I know you do.
I can.
Go.
Hi, I'm Cindy, and I'm also one of the volunteers with Breakfast Brigade. I don't have a whole lot to say, except that I think homelessness is a huge issue in Eugene, not only in Eugene. And I feel like Breakfast Brigade is being made the scapegoat for the problems of homelessness. And, you know, this small crew of Breakfast Brigade volunteers, we need more people. We spend hours and hours and hours, probably 15 to 20 hours every day, every time we come and serve a meal. And we give them a meal and we give them takeaway food, and it keeps them alive another day. I feel like we are part of the solution to unhoused people and their needs being met. And I feel like Breakfast Brigade has become the scapegoat for the problems, and we have not solved those problems. Thank you.
Thank you. And okay, we're almost there. Let me, you know, I understand that because I feel like the Whitaker Community Council unknowingly was put in the same position. If, okay. We're gonna have one more. I know you guys are waiting online.
Yeah, somebody put down my hand. I'm not sure why that was. I've never had a chance to talk.
Hold on just a moment. There's a lot of people. We just want to give everybody an opportunity to have something, please. So this is the founder of the original Breakfast Brigade, the Catholic Workers. When it was actually, she started it out of the trunk of her car or her van.
The back of my van.
Correct. So she came today to speak a little bit.
Mud holes. We got splashed with mud. We got rained on. And this is so far from what we started. And the biggest thing, and I have to say this, Lisa, I'm sorry that I'm saying it, but we have had a total lack of communication and a power trip going on for the past year or so. I actually stepped away from it for a while because my spirit was too broken. I'm also a member of the silent generation and lived to that for a very long time. But in the last year, I've realized that I gotta get my voice back. And I want this Breakfast Brigade, or whatever the heck we call it. We call it the Badass Feeding Frenzy to begin with. And it was apt. It was an apt name for us. We've gotten so far away from that. And I think everybody in this room could work together to find a solution. I think that the Eugene police and their sweeps are a terrible problem and have been for the 24 years I've been working feeding homeless people. So my heart is really, really heavy right now, but I'm determined to fight. Thanks.
I just have one question for you. Who was one of your first volunteers that worked beside you?
Jennifer Denson.
Jennifer Denson, who just got up and left the room because she's really been trying to make a difference and communicate. And I don't know, they did like 40,000 burritos at the last, I don't know how many months, but anyways.
One more thing. I have to say that many of the decisions that have been made have not been made by our board of directors. We have an active board of directors, but they are not consulted. And so decisions are made without any input.
Thank you. So we do have a councilwoman here. Do you have anything you would like to add or say?
Been going on a long time. We've heard about the efforts to find other places, the reasons why other places aren't working. I'm in a really weird position, having started out being an activist for the homeless, which is also some counseling. Not all of this is directly on council, but I also am desperate to find a solution. I talked with the Director of Public Works today because I had been down at the breakfast meeting this morning about the situation, which we all understand. Finding the way to make it work is still elusive. I understand both sides, which is a really horrible place to be. And if we can we look for a compromise, if we can find something that works to keep our desperate people fed this hot meal and keep our neighbors happy in the neighborhood. That's my dilemma.
Yeah.
Particularly critical. I use the dog park, the dog park WJ almost every day. So I am pretty aware of what happens across. I don't have any answer for you, so I don't know what I said is helpful at all, but I do hear you and always looking for you.
Thank you very much. And just so I have reached out to the Downtown Neighborhood Association and asked them to work with us to try to find solutions to the issue, because I know everywhere there's unhoused people that are hungry that need food.
Thank you.
Yeah, but if you know them, perhaps you can
I will.
tell them to, I reached out to them 2 months ago.
Okay.
So
we have a lot of people on.
Okay, yes.
And desperate to.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
You go ahead, Elliot.
All right, so the queue is in the chat. Jubal, I believe you can go first.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. It's been a while. I'll try to keep it to 2 minutes. I'm from this neighborhood. I was born here, and I live here now. I'm all for feeding people in need and really appreciate all the work that's done to achieve this goal. It's like I've worked with Food for Lane County in the past, and I definitely like what Breakfast Parade does. That said, I feel like we're massively skipping the topic of the drug epidemic that's massively affecting this neighborhood in this park. I played in Washington Jefferson Park as a kid, and these days with the amount of drugs, aggression, traffic, and crime, not to mention these supposed sex offenders, brought in by these continual encouraged congregations, it has made it just not a safe place anymore. So really, I think using parks, predominantly residential parks that are used by children and families, is just not an appropriate place to provide food and services for a large gathering of houseless services, especially when it encourages drug prevalence. So being solution oriented, can I please have my 2 minutes?
Please leave.
So being solution oriented, if Breakfast or Burrito Brigade could use private property in a non-park, non-residential area, or do these feedings in a more appropriate manner, such as like a delivery option, or somebody mentioned a municipal soup kitchen, that would be a great idea. It's just not safe to use this park should have large congregations. It absolutely is safe to feed people. That's my point.
Please.
Thank you.
You want to help with that with me? Yeah. Yeah.
They have a right to be here.
No, I asked them to be quiet 10 times.
They can speak up.
No, they can't.
Let's continue to use this.
No.
This is a neighborhood meeting.
Please, show the same respect. Please show the same respect that we need.
No respect is good tone of video. I don't know what you're talking about.
But
I can't, I'm supposed to be here and you're trying to call the cops, like.
We're doing it now. Yeah, it was just meeting. No, I want to call you.
Please. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Did you want me to continue? Or the next person? Okay. Just to end my 2 minutes. It's just not safe to use a residential park, or right next to a big residential area for big congregations that encourage drugs to be massively prevalent. And that's my biggest issue as a neighbor, as somebody that frequents that park, as somebody that's lived here my whole life. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next in the queue is Sarah. Sarah, would you like to speak?
Yes, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, thank you. I'd like to say that placing barriers between those that would feed hungry people and the legality of feeding impoverished people seems abhorrent to me. That a person needs a permit and liability insurance to hand someone a sandwich feels a bit dark. There are many issues around the existence of a large homeless population, primarily that our country does a miserable job of supporting its most vulnerable populations out of homelessness. When we continuously restrict where people are allowed to exist, they will inevitably spill out into places they aren't wanted, because that's nearly everywhere these days. When bathrooms aren't freely accessible to the public at all hours, you will have feces in inappropriate places. If there isn't free and accessible trash disposal, you'll have litter. We're making decisions around removing resources to homeless people in an area, and I want to ask where the established locations for homeless people to exist are. What is the proximity of those locations to resources they need? You're asking, why can't they feed somewhere else? Well, what are the actual valid locations that don't require significant travel for someone on foot? This isn't a population that can easily hop back and forth across town to access resources scattered across a bunch of locations. Are there options besides religious institutions that are classically oppressive towards the queer people that make up a disproportionate part of the homeless population? You can't fix the crisis around homelessness by taking away the resources available to them, by further destabilizing them, and unless you could include their exploration as a solution. We conduct homeless sweeps during cold snaps, we corral them into our most out-of-sight corners in our society, and we prioritize the comfort of those with privilege over the needs of our most vulnerable. And here we are again, prioritizing comfort over needs. People are complaining that feeding is happening in an inappropriate location, then we need to create more places that are appropriate for them to exist, rather than just adding to the list of where they are not accepted. And if the latter hasn't happened, I'm not interested in the former.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you very much, Sarah.
Hi.
Elliot,
go for it. Yeah, Travis is next.
Is there anyone after Travis?
Yes.
Because Travis already spoke, so let's get the people that are in front of him.
SLD, you are after Travis.
Hi. Yeah, I find it a bit concerning that the majority of the advocates, I say majority, it might be all of them, the majority of the advocates do not live in the Whitaker, are not impacted by their decision to push a feed that encourages vagrancy throughout our neighborhood and negatively impacts it. I find it interesting how loud and demanding the folks that are advocating for this feed are, when they don't live, they don't work, they don't actually suffer the consequences of the vagrancy. Beyond that, there was another advocate earlier.
You already talked, Travis, so we need to put you to the end and give everyone an opportunity in case we run out of time.
I would like to speak before Travis.
So who is next? Okay.
I would have loved to hear his 2 minutes.
Yeah.
He already had 5 minutes, so.
We've got 250 out of 1,000 people in the Whitaker are homeless.
So Travis is one of our members. He has a right to speak in this forum.
We already spoke.
He did, and I said at the beginning that everyone would speak one time and then go to the end of the line.
Yes, he's been wanting to speak since he spoke to follow up. We've all had quite a long time to follow up. So I will have someone new speak.
Thank you.
SLD.
Just hold on, Travis.
If you are available and can unmute your mic, we'd love to hear what you would like to say.
How do you get on this, the sign-up list?
You're in person, you just raise your hand.
I don't know. This is Susan. That may be me, SLD. I don't know if I didn't put my full name in. I'm a person who has lived in Eugene since 1970. I've lived in the Whitaker in the early 70s, and then again starting in the 90s. So I have about 40 or 50 years living in Whitaker. And I agree with Travis's statement about when people make a decision, a great decision to help people that need help, there needs to be some thinking about the consequences of what they're doing. And I would say also, ironically, I happen to be out walking because I like to do a walk at night, and I'm on my own street, and I'm in the process of calling cahoots because there is a person ODing about a block from my house. So I'm just telling you the reality, my reality of living in the Whitaker. That's one thing that goes on. I have people yelling at me and harassing me. So I'm not complaining. I believe if you have something that you think is going in not the way you want, you need to take an action. Talking is easy, and I'm not taking action beyond helping this person that's ODing right now and attending meetings. But anyway, I just wanted to speak up. I have served on the Whitaker Community Council. I've been around for a while, and
Okay, Susan, thank you very much. Thanks that your 2 minutes are up. We appreciate your sharing. Does anyone have a question? I can't hear y'all when y'all are talking.
They want to know where the person is. They want to take Narcan to the person who's OD. They would like to know where Susan is.
I have Narcan in the car. Do we need
So
to-
Susan, do you need someone to bring you some Narcan right now? You have someone that's ODing right now in front of your house?
The person, I went back and they're gone. So evidently they woke up.
So you understand, Susan, that you can go to, there's a place right by the park that has Narcan that's inside of a mailbox.
Oh,
That is
okay.
all the time. Actually, everybody should carry Narcan in case they run across somebody that needs it so they can save a life.
Thank you for letting me know that.
Yes, and we have recently updated our website. If you go to the website and you look under where you can get what, community resources, every place to eat, every place that offers medical, every place that you can go and get clothing, whatever, we are updating that on a daily basis because we want it to be out there.
If you let them know, it's just not one Narcan. It takes 2 to 4 to successfully.
Actually, 4 milligrams is, yeah.
If I may, if anyone has any other resources they would like to see on the website, if you could please either use the contact form on the website or email.
Just email
WCC
Whitaker
email.
Community Council at
Yeah.
Gmail, and we would love to add any resource onto our website. Who's next? Oh, yeah.
Nobody in the queue.
So there's nobody in the queue, sir?
So, yeah.
Excuse me. I'm gonna talk to you over here. Okay. Yeah, my name is Wayne Martin.
Hi, Wayne.
So we've been at this for 11 years. Some years were very small, but we worked and worked and worked at it. I was nominally a member. My good friend Charlie started this ministry, and
If you could speak up a little bit, so everybody.
Oh, I'll do my best.
We do have a mic if you would like.
That would be wise.
Yeah, you're good. Actually, the mic isn't hooked up. That was part of our issue. So if you'd like, you could use that as a support. That's the mic right there.
I think what I'll do is just speak up.
Thank you.
So I have a history with this organization, prominently the last 5 or 6 years on a pretty daily basis, daily meeting 4 days a week. I don't serve food. I'm a retired chaplain, hospice chaplain and pastor, and I provide, I think, what I call spiritual care, material care. I'm in charge of getting people rides to doctor's appointments, probation officers, Social Security. I've ushered many people through the Social Security process. We have experience with all the sweeps that have happened in the last 3 months. We've experienced a volume increase of, we estimate, 50%. So on a small day, it would go from 60 to 90. On a medium-sized day, it would go from 80 to 120. Fridays and Saturdays now, it goes from about 130 to 200.
You're talking about people that you're feeding?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, and it's a large number, and I can see why you're concerned. What happens is that they get fed, they are much less likely to steal. And that's a huge factor.
That's a good point.
Plus, they're getting a nutritious meal, something they would not get otherwise. And a lunch, also a nutritious lunch. I try to help them on Mondays and Tuesdays, which are our days off. I have money in my pocket in case it's needed on an emergency basis. It usually is. I give everything I've got to feed and help and even sometimes house chronically unhoused people. Many of them are addicts, especially with the new bunch. We just take them as addicts. We try to feed them so that they have at least something to counteract the effect of alcohol and drugs. There are mentally ill people that we serve. There are people who are uncontrollable that we control. In short, I think this operation is vital. And thank you, Whitaker, for letting us be on your outskirts.
So I have a question, and I would guess that not everyone that you feed is unhoused. Is that correct?
Almost everybody.
But then I'm going to imagine that you probably feed some people that are living on food boxes and barely making it by.
By all means. Yeah. And we don't turn anyone away.
Right.
We aren't the police.
So just so I understand as well, so my understanding is when it was the Catholic workers that there was a bishop that you all were attached to, and the bishop left or retired, and
No, he's a lay Franciscan.
okay, well, that they're no longer associated with it, so it's not Catholic workers anymore.
Help.
Right. I'm just trying to make sure that I really want to know the facts.
Yeah,
You know, I don't know how many people watched the debate last night, but wow, we're all eating cats and dogs for dinner, you know? So I really want to know the facts.
But we're not serving cats and dogs.
No, I know that. It was a bad joke.
Maybe, pardon me, we do serve some dogs.
Okay.
But not
to eat. They get some dinner.
We offer good quality dog food to those who need it.
Yeah, I've seen that actually. Thank you very much.
Yeah, any other questions? I've been deeply grieved for the last 2.5 weeks. It's had an effect on me. I would like to see us come to an agreement where everybody is happy.
Someone please. There, one person over here actually who had not spoke. Hold on, Lisa, who had not spoke. Thank you, sir. Someone over here had their hand up. Who hadn't spoken? Okay. Okay, please. Sorry.
I think we should ground ourselves for a second. Remember, do a little bit of remembrance about we would have done this at some point today. But I want to see the first 15 seconds of my time. That's okay. So remember a talented artist, Rich Homie Fawn, who passed away last week. So we just take 15 seconds. Thank you. Okay, so I just want to say, like, I mean, really, I don't understand what it is like in people's hearts that makes them so. Well, actually, hold on, real quick. I want to address something. Is that there's a lot of people who come up here to justify their position in aligning themselves with Whitaker Community Council or the city community to like not have people fed by saying, "Well, I did this organizing at this point in my life. And I did whatever." And first of all, we got to remember, old money ain't new money. Okay, something you did a long time ago, and your heart can change over time. And it seems like a lot of the people in Eugene, especially a lot of the like older homeowner class people, want to justify the things they did. It's like, well, I had these aggressive ideals when I was a kid, whatever. But you know what? Something happened in their life and it changed their hearts. You know, and what a lot of it was probably just getting access to like a home and kind of being able to live out this like idyllic American dream or so. And you know, many people don't get to experience that. Many people in my generation never will. We're broke. We're broke. Things are going to continue to get worse. Climate change is out of control. You know, there's crisis upon crisis upon crisis upon crisis. And we know the direction this is going in. And so, I mean, today, what there's, let's say 1,000 people get fed at the park, tomorrow it's going to have to be 10,000 because of just the increase in need that's, you know, coming down the pipe. And so I really appreciate that my generation understands autonomous organizing, because we know that actually it really doesn't matter what the breakfast brigade does, doesn't matter what the burrito brigade does. People will get fed. People are going to get fed regardless, because it actually doesn't matter what the city thinks. It doesn't matter what the Whitaker Community Council thinks, the police thinks, or any of these nonprofit activists among masquerading around like, I did all this stuff 40 years ago. It doesn't matter. You know, because people are going to get fed, because we're going to have to do it. We're going to have to care for each other, and that is not negotiable.
Nowhere did we ever say that we don't want people to get fed.
Adam,
Yeah, I haven't heard a single person say they're against feeding. It's just the location.
We never, you can turn it into whatever you want. But we never said that we don't want people to get fed. We said we care about all of our neighbors, everyone.
People getting fed, people don't get fed. If you're not going to open up your fucking house to feed people, then let them feed at the park.
Yeah, that's not my point.
You on your front porch.
It is not my choice. So, Lisa, you have been waiting. So Lisa has been waiting, and then Stephen. Oh, hold on. This person hasn't spoken at all. We still have a few minutes here.
Okay.
I'll get to you, Lisa. I promise.
It's okay. I was just trying to clarify the one question you left waiting, so we going into that.
Okay.
I hear a lot of the people that are in opposition to people being fed in proximity to their homes or their parks or whatever, talking about like what should or shouldn't be in their neighborhoods. But like, there are things in the neighborhoods like Airbnbs and like people getting forcibly removed from their homes. I have lived here for 6 years. I've been forcibly removed from my home twice.
which, you know, it does things to you. It's not great. It will make you unstable. And also, it's like nothing is being done to people who are putting people through these incredibly violent experiences, people who live outside now. Certainly, many of them live in the neighborhood before people who have no connection in their hearts to this place came and snatched up everything. I mean, it's just in the time that I have lived here, even in the last just few years, like what you see when you walk down the street outside of this building is very different, because everyone who has a real connection to this place, like most of them can't live here anymore because of what I imagine is the demographic of people who are upset that people don't have houses to live in. Yeah, I've made it up to touch on.
I don't understand what you mean.
I mean, people are being. This is not historically.
It's all right.
This is not historically like a wealthy neighborhood.
That's correct.
And somehow there are all these blonde Tesla driving. And they're here. They're only here because they have forced people out of their homes. And now people are out.
How are you being a landlord? Because I don't see many Teslas in the neighborhood. I know, yeah. All right, Lisa.
Okay, so the thing I wanted to clarify was the demographics of the population that we serve, because our numbers have actually doubled over last year. It used to be that at the end of the month, the last week of the month, that's our highest service, which is why when Whitaker Community Council came to us and wanted us to make changes, we proposed that we make those changes. And I don't know if this message ever got back to you in the first week of the month when people get their food stamps. It used to be we saw those people the last week of the month, and it used to be the highest amount of people we would serve would be maybe 100 on a Saturday. We served 210 people on the last Saturday in August that we served. A good 30 to 40% of those people are housed, they are working poor, and they are out of food stamps. They're driving up.
Yeah, that's what I would guess.
And they're leaving. So we're trying to ask our guests for more of that information to get good demographics on that. But these are not people who are sleeping under the stars. These are people who are living. We've got a diabetic amputee named Bobby who lives in Springfield, who has somebody drive her to get food because she can't make it through the month. So it is not just homeless. We are serving a broader community that is hungry. So the point of where we serve those people is valid, because they would come to wherever we are, but they're not homeless. They're not drug addicts. They might be mentally ill. They might be physically ill, but they are housed and have food stamps, and they're running out of their food stamps due to inflation by the 10th of the month.
Yeah.
And I can show that on a graph. I haven't had enough time to do it, but I will put those numbers together for you where you can actually see it exponentially go up year over year over year, because we have to do that reporting every month for food going down. So I just wanted to clarify the population.
Thank you. And you know, I like I said, I've been talking to Food for Lane County, trying to help find a solution. Believe you all can believe what you want, but I know what I've been doing. And I asked them, why is it you feed on this exact days? I was aghast when I really looked. We had to pull down stuff on our website because I started calling to say, hey, are you serving a meal? Are you serving? It was all pre-COVID. So I get that. Yeah. So I asked Food for Lane County, I'm like, you have a dining room. You have a whole dining room that is made specifically for this. It's got a kitchen. It's got everything. And you know what? You are not open the days that the breakfast brigade is. You guys serve the opposite times. Why do you not let them serve there so people can go to the same place and eat every day?
Yes, please.
I did. I just said that this morning to them. I sent them a very long email, and I will ask them again. And you reach out to me, and I want us to work together to help find a solution for everyone.
Exactly, thank you.
And it is time to be inside. That's what I told them. I said, it's crap that you have to be outside.
So lots of hands, but I do see one new face. So you
I
there.
just wanted to, a quick thing about the dining room parking lot.
Just a minute and just a minute.
Yeah,
Okay.
we've already addressed that. We've already looked into it. It's an insurance issue.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys need better insurance for that? Is that-
No, we can't, they can't do it with our insurance. They can't do it with a non-food related county entity.
Oh, I thought you guys were supported by.
We are a partner agency. We are not part of food for Lane.
All right, well, that's not what they told me, but that's okay. We'll talk about it another time.
So yes, all you.
So I just wanted to point out something about the nature of a lot of the arguments against. Pretty much all of them are pointing out different aspects of homelessness that they find ugly and different things that we would describe as like symptoms of homelessness. All relevant data shows that that stuff goes away if you increase resources given, but to take them away. All this is going to do is make those problems worse for those people. They're not just going to leave. Community members are going to have to feed those people regardless of if it's funded by the city or not.
Thank you. It's not funded by the city, I don't think, just FYI, sir.
Yeah, so I kind of following up on the last few points that have been made. Keep hearing the word respect over and over again. I don't feel like if you are saying as a rule that the entirety of the homeless population should not be in any residential areas, you've already shown such a fundamental disrespect. In fact, I would say basic dehumanization, which I don't know if people watch current events, but it's kind of a global issue right now. And we are recreating it here. And we're saying it so casually, so nicely, so much concern. You're like, I'm just so concerned that these subhumans are in my neighborhood right now. And I don't want to hear another, we're all here to solve problems, we're all here on the same side. If you are saying those things, like, let's just say, like, you know, I just don't want a certain person of a certain shade to be here. Everyone would, but that's not respectful. But if it's, oh, I don't want someone that looks so extremely poor to be here, then, oh, well, that's just your opinion. We just want to make sure your voice is heard. If you don't think that they're real human beings, well, sir, you're a member of our community, so we want to respect you. And that's not a valid perspective. The things that have been said are just not valid. They're no more valid than saying women don't have the right to vote, that queer people shouldn't be like in public, or that anyone who's not white is not a human. Like, they are all the same thing. And this is the only state in the history of the United States that made it constitutional for Black people not to live here. And so this state has a very low percentage. And yet it's essential to American elites to have scapegoats. And so how does Eugene work? We scapegoat the homeless. We can start to scapegoat the services for the homeless. And that's I was here from 2010 to 14. It's the exact same playbook. The exact same thing. And whenever the homeless started, I mean, the worst thing, the city freaked out when we had like a self-managed unauthorized homeless camp and homeless folks started to actually heal and get better. Oh my God, that's totally unacceptable. Not only are they human, but they're demonstrating they don't need us. That's just, get them out. And in fact, that property on heading towards 6th by the university on the corner there's a big old cyclone fence. That's where Whoville was. That's how scared this city is of self-agency of the homeless, because they still keep that locked up. And so this is a human rights practice, and this isn't about like, you know, your side of this. There's a right side and there's a wrong side. There's not different sides.
This guy's been talking for quite a while. Are we going to let the residents, people from the Whitaker need to talk? This guy's not even from the Whitaker. This is a visitor.
So, and you know, I'm not arguing.
He's from Jefferson West Side. He's from Almaden and 8th.
But you know, for me to realize in my position, the guy who had his little girl in here who stood up with the shoe and said that she can't walk through the park. And you know what? It is worse than the park with the feedings. There are more needles. There is
So
more
what?
garbage.
Yeah,
There-
more vagrants.
But you know what? His family has the same rights that the unhoused people do.
I wasn't talking about him. I was talking about.
I thought you were talking in general. I
No,
know.
he said, someone in that list that you consider a part of this community said we shouldn't have homeless people served in any residential parks. Do you want to say who said that? Do you have the slide?
I can speak to that. I said any parks that are used by children should have large congregations of services. It's not about feeding people in general. I think people should be fed. It's just don't bring massive groups that bring a ton of drugs and crime to a single residential park. That's in the Whitaker. It's vastly impacting our community more so than other areas. It's
apparently KKK too. That's how we do things here in the United States.
if you could deliver the food, that would be awesome. If you could do it in a sanctioned location that wasn't a community use location or in smaller groups, that would be appropriate. It just, let's look for a solution. Let's not fight over it.
Okay, hold on, Michelina, this is Michelina, everyone. She hasn't spoken yet.
There are lots of other parks in this neighborhood that people can take their children to. Yes. This is a historically, this park is, I mean, it is under an overpass. It has been a place where people who have been marginalized have congregated for as long as it's existed.
That's just blatantly false. It's been a basketball court and other things.
Please don't interrupt her.
And then,
I'm sorry.
and to deny people who need a place to be is inhuman. And to deny congregation of people is oppressive.
Large congregations.
And so, like, hey, yes, like it is not a place that's particularly friendly for children, but there are plenty of other places that are. And there are stores, there are restaurants, there are places that people have money to have homes that they can go, that they can recreate, that they can buy food, that they can come together and like go to like indoor playgrounds. There are so many resources for so many people who have so much. This is one place that has traditionally been a place where people have nothing to be. So like fucking let them be there.
Thank you. Travis. Who has not spoken? Okay, please. What is your name? I'm sorry, please, yeah. Sorry about that. I didn't see it there.
So I would not like you to respond or to answer my questions while I'm speaking. You can do it afterward. Dave, I'm going to start my timer. Clearly, the solution that you are looking for is to give resources, not take them away. You are taking away resources. Maybe not you guys, but you wrote a letter. You know what you're doing. You don't want homeless people around here. People are saying that they understand both sides, don't understand that the two sides are oppressors and the oppressed. You can fool yourself into thinking whatever you want about your liberal values. You are the oppressor or you are the oppressed. That is simply how it is. If you have a problem with drugs, if you have a problem with needles, if you have a problem with people ODing outside your house, carry Narcan, carry sharp containers. They are easily available. You have them on your website. That's great. Homeless people are not the problem. You are the problem. Yellow vests are also not the solution. I haven't seen anybody bring this up, but at your meeting yesterday, people were talking about having volunteer cops at the park.
No.
The yellow vest?
Yeah.
Does anybody know about that? It was on the notes that people. Yeah. That is not a solution. That is another problem. More cost is not a problem. It's not a solution. It's a problem. To the guy who doesn't think that people should be given food at a public place. Have you heard of a festival? Let's see. Generally, I just want to say that the solution that you are looking for is to give, not to take away. If you're going to get rid of the Breakfast Brigade, there's going to be a vacuum. what are you putting in place? Calling people, sure, whatever, but have specific solutions. You have not come to specific solutions. You're saying you're looking for a solution. You're not. You're giving platitudes. You're giving platitudes, and those are not solutions. Giving is the solution.
I proposed a bunch of solutions, and I'm waiting to hear alternative solutions that the pro feeding in Jefferson Park might have.
Well, I'm sorry. Thank you very much for your words. We appreciate that. Is there anyone else who hasn't spoke? Okay, so we have two people that haven't said anything.
So the people who are concerned about the needles, there's not like a we love needles on the ground party and a we hate needles on the ground. Everybody wants needles to not have needles on the ground. Okay, like we're all in agreement about that. And I was thinking about the person who brought up the police budget earlier. Whoever said that number, can you please say it again? $19.6 million. $19.6 million. So how much of that money should go to hiring people to clean up the needles? There don't have to be needles on the ground, and we don't have to blame anyone except for the people who have the money to solve that problem for not solving that problem because they're choosing not to solve that problem.
Thank you.
We've got an accountability problem in this group.
Spoken.
Okay, here's how I see it. All of us want to live in a beautiful world where we are comfortable and free to move about however we want to be. That's not a controversial statement. I think that is a beautiful dream, and also that is a dream, and you get to choose to live in that dream where the most important thing is that you are walking your dog in the park, and that's a dream. In reality, we are either starving, we are dying, it is cold, it is too hot, we don't have a park to walk our dogs in because we get chased out of our parks. We do not have a meal to eat, and that is reality. And there's nothing to wake up into from that because it is only going to get worse from here on out. If you're so worried about how many more homeless people are in your neighborhood, is that not evidence enough that it's just going to get worse if people do not have shelter and safety? So, like, you are choosing sides by saying, okay, let's all join in this together. Let's take down these barriers. Let's make it possible. Let's find solutions. Or you get to live in your fantasy land. And someday you wake up, maybe that's your kid or your grandchild or your niece or your nephew or your neighbor who gets evicted, who's now homeless. And you have to look them in the eyes and either decide to ignore them or face up to the fact that you didn't get it together earlier and have some fucking humanity and take care of the people who are around you because they are not going anywhere and they are us. And they are our friends and they are our families. And even if we are insulated and do not have that, they are our neighbors. So live in reality, live in your neighborhood, live in the town you live in. Let people have a park to sleep in. Go walk your dog on the side of the road. There's plenty of other parks to walk your dog in. Let people sleep, or at least let them have a meal. It's not complicated. That's it.
All right, we're almost out of time here. Travis, I think you have
not spoken yet.
Sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to say a couple of things. The first thing I want to say is that you talk about Whitaker as if you were a cohesive community of people who have a clear line of communication. I mean, we're at a meeting right now. There are a bunch of people all from Whitaker here, including myself. We have a dialogue between each other. There's no reason why, if Whitaker is a cohesive community, we can't work together to help the other people in the community who aren't represented in this room. The unhoused people who are living around you, who are getting food inside the park, deserve help. And you, as a community, have the means to help them. It's not just about the police budget. It's not just about reallocating resources. It's also about your own personal time and energy. That fellow that was talking about how he's afraid for his kid because of needles, that's a valid concern. But as a community, you can organize, we can organize, and we can try to gather up needles. We can do that. We can work together to feed people. I mean, I think that the big thing that I wanted to ask about was, I have yet to see any evidence inside this meeting that the Breakfast Brigade is a contributor to these problems that you're starting. Like, it seems like you're bringing up all this rhetoric about homeless people being a danger, but and then you're saying we still want to feed them, we still want to help them. But how does this fix the problems that you're listing off if you remove this resource? I have yet to see anything that suggests to me that ending Breakfast Brigade will help any of your problems.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, so we have time for one more. Travis, you got.
I see a bunch of appealing to emotion arguments that lack basic common sense.
Everybody in the room has already spoke. I already shut him up. You guys.
Travis has said enough.
That lack basic common sense.
Travis, hold on. I shut it up the first time. He talked one time.
Travis has said enough.
I was shut down.
I muted him because I promised I would, and I told you all back there, just give me a minute and I'll have.
All right, Travis, pack your shit.
Wait, yeah, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give Travis 2 minutes. We're gonna give you 2 minutes, and then we're done. Okay.
Our neighborhood park is being consistently trashed. It's a livability issue. It's not that complicated. We don't need to get into an emotional, socio-political conversation filled with all these ideologies.
Wayne's
when
World,
the bottom line
Wayne's
is
World.
Our park is filled with trash. It's filled
Wayne's
with drug
World.
addicts. Our sidewalks
We
are
see
being
you, Wayne.
blocked
We know how
by
deep
people.
Our
sidewalks are being blocked by people that are drugged out, that are stealing bicycles from around
You're an
the
old predator,
neighborhood.
Wayne.
We need to clean up our park. It's very simple. The feeding is not doing
Yes, you,
anything
Wayne Martin,
of benefit
predator.
to our livability. That's why
Clean
the
up
feeding
the
needs to be
park.
moved.
By cleaning up your police department.
Absolutely, clean that up too.
Clean up the corrupt officers that are putting the dope in the magistrates that you've elected into power.
Travis, are you still there?
Thank you. Yeah, we need to clean up the park because the livability of the residents in the Whitaker is suffering and has been suffering since the COVID camp was put in there in 2020. Our neighborhood is a historically marginalized neighborhood in the city of Eugene, and all this feeding is doing is perpetuating a problem that we've had to deal with for well over 40 years. And it's time to change. It's time to change that paradigm.
Get out of here. Please stop. No, please stop. You know what? We were respectful and listened to you. You know what? The meeting's done, everybody. Thank you very much. Lisa, please email me, okay? You have my email? I don't. Whitaker Community Council at gmail.com.
Accessibility politics. Fuck you.
It's time to change the paradigm.
Lisa, please email me and we will chat and see if we can come up with some kind of solution.
You can't come up with shit for a solution. You fucking suck.
What you gotta do?
Fuck you, assholes.
We're done. We're done.
Yeah, you are fucking done because you fucking suck.